Okay. Yeah. Okay, 7:15. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:15. The first thing we're going to do is our flag salute. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our roll call.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Ms. Bullenbacher.
Here.
Mr. Chandler.
Here.
Ms. Compatello. Is not here. Mr. Marks.
Here.
Mr. Oliverio.
Here.
Ms. Pokalnik.
Here.
Mr. Radilla.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Solicitor Corbel.
Here.
And myself. Thank you.
Consent agenda. For this and going forward, we have added all the reports that are on the OneDrive for clarity. So we will now, they weren't on prior meeting agenda, so we've added them to this one. So we're looking to approve all of these, which are the council meeting minutes from April 13th, which was our last meeting, the bill list from this meeting, and then all the written reports that were on the OneDrive prior to. So that's the January Treasurer's Report and Financial Dashboard. February, you can see there's several reports on the agenda, from the Treasurer's Report to the Building Inspector Report, and March Treasurer's Report the whole way to the Manager's Report. So looking for a motion to approve the April 27th, 2023 consent agenda as listed on the minute.
So moved.
Mr. Marks,
Second.
Mr. Chandler, any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, public comments on agenda items. At this time, citizens may address the Crafton Borough Council on any issue appearing on today's agenda. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Crafton will be permitted to address the council. Comments on non-agenda items will be taken at the end of tonight's meeting. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before council, who may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Please state your name and physical address for the record. So we have
Elaine Devlin, who wanted to talk about the demolition on the agenda.
Oh, you have to do something, but
Hi, my name's Elaine Devlin. I reside at 88 South Grandview Avenue, and I'm here tonight as a resident and taxpayer of Crafton. And I'm pleading with you, when the motion is before you tonight, to authorize the application of funds to demo the condemned structure at 64 South Grandview Avenue. Hope that you all vote yes. I've watched this vacant structure become an eyesore for over 10 years. The vacancy has attracted vermin and trespassers from many And I think this has been a missed opportunity and revenue could have been, recouped. It could have been, it came from the borough if the building had been maintained and occupied at paying rent. Time to remove that building. And I hope that the land could be sold to a visionary person to maybe make this property what it was viable for before. So thank you, and I hope you vote yes.
Thank you very much. Is anybody else? Okay. On Zoom, you just need to raise your hand if you would like to speak. You can't. 'Cause you're on phone. All right, President's report. So I'm happy to report that last Saturday, is that, Ms. Bolenbacher, Mr. Price, and myself were at the ALOM conference in Seven Springs. That's the Allegheny League of Municipalities. It was a 2-day conference, which was going over lots of learnings. Mr. Corbel was there. He did 2 presentations as a panelist. And our county commissioners, everybody was there. It was a well-attended event, great way to network and to educate ourselves. At that event, the county executive was there, Rich Fitzgerald, and we were presented with our Banner Community Award for 2023. And I don't want to read the whole thing here, but basically it's acknowledging you have to fill out an application about all the activities that you do in the prior year. And we met all of those criteria and we were awarded a Banner Community. I think there were close to 70 or 80 other communities in Allegheny County that were awarded, but is definitely a prestigious awards and goes to the work of council and staff and all of our residents to obtain this reward. So it is present. We have it here and we'll be keeping it in our office, but it's something to really be proud of as a community, and not all communities receive this award. So any questions or comments from the folks who attended or? Okay, great. I have nothing else to report. The mayor's report.
Nothing this evening.
Okay. And the solicitor's report.
Yep, just a couple quick announcements about executive sessions. The council will meet after the meeting this evening to discuss personnel matters, and they will meet again on May 11th before the meeting at 5:30 p.m. to discuss real estate matters. That's the end of my report.
Great. Manager's report.
Okay, first up is the topic that the young lady from Grandview already spoke about, and that is the Act 152 blight removal. Round 3, we have a request for approval to apply for an Act 152 grant to demolish the condemned property at 64 South Grandview. And we're including a 20% match offer to sweeten the deal, basically to make it a better grant offer. I don't know, Vince, did you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, so this was brought up at the planning commission. There was some concern about demoing this building, but after talking with Jim, it more sounds like we kind of have to foundationally. It is compromised, so really it doesn't make sense to do anything else besides demo it.
Yeah, and I can bring up a little more information. There was conversation at the planning commission meeting that we shouldn't be just taking properties to demo if you can take them to the sheriff's sale, because then you can save the property. However, in this case, the foundation is completely dilapidated, and the concern is if you take it to sheriff's sale when you have a foundation issue like that, because anybody at sheriff's sale can buy it. It will often be someone who doesn't know what they're doing, and then it'll end up just sitting anyway. I talked to the head of the land bank, the Allegheny County Land Bank, who was a former mentor of mine, to discuss this particular issue. And she agreed, absolutely. You never want to take something to sheriff's sale that could continue to be a problem property, because somebody else will buy it and do the same thing because they'll realize that it's too expensive and they won't do anything with it. Yes. So I wanted to confirm that. So with that, if there's no other discussions, I'm going to call for a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Oh, let me, yeah, I want to say the motion. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make sure there was no more discussion. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry, Vince. I have asked for a motion to authorize the borough manager to apply for Act 152 funding to demolish the condemned structure at 64 South Grandview Avenue that is more than 7 years tax delinquent.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
What's that 20% match looking like from a dollars perspective?
I think the estimated cost when we looked at it was 80,000. So it's a pretty significant match. It'll be in the $18,000 range.
This property has been on the agenda for probably, Coletta, do you know how long this has been on the agenda?
You mean it's been in discussion pretty much since I was on council.
Which was,
Well, that would be now 7 years ago, so probably at least 5 years, and as our resident mentioned, she's been watching it for 10 years. And then I think the thing that we want to underscore, as we have all asked and discussed, is there will be a lien against that property. And so any future sale, the lien will have to be satisfied.
Right. So, and that will be, do you want to say?
That would be a way for the borough to recoup its 20% match at that point.
So the vote tonight is for the grant funding for this. So it's not a guarantee that we will get the grant funding, but it is a vote to do this. And we acknowledge that this property has been on this agenda for quite some time. So we have any other discussion? Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right. Motion passes.
Okay, and I just wanted to make a reminder for the rest of the council people that they need to file there are a few left that need to file their financial interest that's due May 1st. And I wanted to make one other note. Just let everybody know, we did have issues with the swimming pool. We now have found the leak. So it was leaking more than 2 inches or 2 to 3 inches a day at the end of last year. And there was a pipe that had burst that was under the concrete. So we have found that and it is now being fixed. I just wanted to update everybody. So we're all set for the pool to open at the announcement at the end of that. But we're set to open on May 27th for the pool. And with that, I'll pass it back to you.
Right, thank you. All right, Finance and Administration, Ms. Perry.
So Finance Committee did meet earlier this month, and we were able to see the first quarter budget to actual. So our administration has been working diligently on getting the planned budget into the bookkeeping program so that we can view that. That will be posted on the OneDrive, and you'll let council know exactly where you're going to post it. My recommendation is to put it out in something. It is there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because I couldn't find it earlier. So
Yeah, it's in the reports you have. It's on, there's 18
the dashboard.
pages.
Oh, the dashboard, but not the budget to actual.
Oh, not the budget to actual. Yeah, that's the one.
So
But
budget to
18
actual
pages, yeah.
will be posted. And I'm recommending that we have a folder for our reports that's separate from the particular meeting, so that we can always go back and look, because they're hard to find when you just leave them in the one. And but in the OneDrive, we do have a new document that we've also been working on for some time, and it's the dashboard that will give you an overview along with various trends on various collections and expenses. Instead of my spending 45 minutes going through it, I would encourage everyone to look at it. And if you have any questions, either contact Jim, who can arrange for Marilyn, or me, but Jim and Marilyn would be the best people to be asking for clarification and understanding. But you'll find that it, lets you know a really good overview of everything that's going on in the borough financially, what our balances are, and various things like that. And then So financial reports, that, and then we have a motion, so you may all remember that a while back, we moved all of the borough's accounts from multiple accounts at another bank to pretty much a single account with our new bank. There is one exception that got left, which was a bank account that was used to administer the Crafton Celebrates income and expenses. And that was not incorporated. So we need a motion tonight to approve closing that account and moving that amount of money, the $17,528 into the general fund. So can I have somebody motion?
Sure, I'll start. I'll make a motion to authorize the borough administration to close the bank account previously set up for Crafton Celebrates and move funds in the amount of $17,528.52 to the general fund.
Second.
Ms. Bolenbacher, discussion? One thing I want to mention about this is that this doesn't take away the money from any of the activities. Those are actually in the budget now. So they're in the general fund budget, and each of the activities from the senior dinners to the 4th of July and all those are all budgeted in there. This was money that was in a separate account that we were paying interest for, getting interest, but also fees on. So this is moving that money over, and all of the activities from the rec board and events are all into our general fund account. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Community Services and Infrastructure, Ms. Compitello couldn't be here due to a family medical issue, so Mr. Price is going to take her.
Yeah, I will take over on that one. So first off, I'm gonna update the Broadhead separation project update. We plan to have Gateway engineers present at with detailed information about this project at the next council meeting on May 11th. So they will do a detailed description of that project so that all of council and the public can hear what we're planning and ask any questions and make adjustments to that as needed. For the 2023 road paving updates, we received a bid today. That bid was actually lower than what we expected. So it was a fairly good bid. So we'll be able to add some alternates to that project. And we'll have more details at the next one when you council will award the contract on May 11th. Once we have time to formally put it in the agenda. Union Avenue reconstruction has begun. On Monday of this week, they started tearing out the curbs and are working through that. So they're started phase 1 at the north end of the street. So it's basically shut down from Cross down to the middle of the street at about 88 Union or so. And that phase 1 is scheduled to last 3 weeks. And it looks like it's doing pretty well because we've been lucky. We haven't had much rain, so that's great. And phase 2 will start upon its completion. If you need any more information or if you have any questions about that, by all means, give us a call at the administrative office. For Crafton Boulevard Streetscape Phase 2, the light installation should be completed within the next few weeks. We were initially told 6 weeks and then it was changed to 8 weeks because they're having problems getting the lighting fixtures in. So we should see that within the next few weeks. The multi-municipal zoning project update, we held a public engagement event on April 19th at the stage. The weather was gorgeous and the event was decently attended for that type of event. For a zoning event, although we are at the planning commission on Tuesday night, we did discuss ways that we could get more people to these events so we can get more participation. And having a discussion next week with one of the subs on the contract, Pashik is, and we're talking about, we might actually create a website, which is within the scope of this project to push more people to be able to make comments. And so we hope that once we put that out, share it with your friends on Facebook, share it with your friends on LinkedIn, share it where you can so that we can get that information out there. And we're working on other ways to get the word out about those types of events. And again, Congressman DeLuzio's district representative stopped by as well, and there were several Crafton and Ingram elected officials at the event. I want to give an update on the poison hemlock. The contractor, independent, who did the work on Starrett, Harris, and Bar Avenue, have removed and replanted grass along the portions where the poison hemlock was visible. So hopefully we got most of it, but please remain cautious. It might come back. The best thing to do is either pull it or mow it. If you keep it mowed, it will not be able to get to gestate and be able to reproduce. So that's a helpful way to get rid of it. And it is mostly dangerous if you ingest it. So really look out for small children and pets. And it's a slight irritant, but it's nowhere near as bad as poison oak or poison ivy. It's really about ingesting it is the danger there. And we still have information up on our website. So by all means, if you're not sure and you want to find out more information, go to our website and you can find out that information. And that's the updates for that. Is there any questions about any of the things that I just discussed?
Yeah. Did we want to mention or talk about the letter we got regarding paving at all?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to, did you want to bring it up or do you want me to discuss it?
I mean, if we all got the same letter, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. So Greg Wozniak, who's here in the audience, sent us all a letter about the brick streets and about paving over brick streets and our desire to save brick streets and his desire to save brick streets. We discussed it also, and it's an issue on topic at the Planning Commission. And it's going to be discussed next period at the Planning Commission meeting. And a number of the streets that are involved in the project, the Broadview project, are currently brick streets. And so that is something that the Broadhead project are brick streets. So that'll be discussed at that point. But he brought up and we'll put this on the report, so this can be public. This will be part of the reports that are on the OneDrive, and that will be publicly accessible so everybody can see. But basically that these add property value. Brick streets add property value. They are great for preventing speeding in a given. So they're a good speed device. They have a lot of benefits. They have a number of issues. So that was a letter that he sent in, concerned that we were going to be tearing out the brick streets, specifically on the project next week, but going forward, really, that we don't have a plan to save the brick streets. So, yes.
So in reflecting on that, and then also the fact, as Greg mentioned, that it is mentioned in our Thrive plan, having been involved with all of that, there's, some good community input, but as we know, the expense is so high. One of the things that I'm wondering, and I don't even know how we do this, whether it's possible, a solicitor can, I'm wondering if this is of the sort of thing that might get put on the ballot for the larger community to weigh in on, especially under, the circumstances that the costs, which would not, we wouldn't be, I don't believe we'd be able to get any grant money to cover that additional cost, could very well mean that we would end up with some kind of a millage increase. So I think, it's a very serious issue. And I think that it's really, really important for us to get the largest voice on this, because there is so much expense and other issues involved.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to say it through the mic so that they could hear, but if you want to comment on that.
There are very limited situations that you can have a referendum, if you will. And I don't think that is one of them off the top of my head, but there may be other ways in order to try to get the opinions of the community on that issue. But I'll double check to make sure that my recollection is correct.
And just to update, I did ask Doug, who is working with the engineers to go back and get estimates on the streets that we are looking at for Broadhead, the Broadhead project. And additionally, Mount Lebanon did a study with CMU students about the cost of doing this and being able to do it. And it had some questionable numbers in it. So we're looking into that further, but there may actually be some grant funding out there for it. It's not enough to do, all of the streets that need to be done. But there might be options out there. They're not probably very easy to get because lots of people with brick streets want to do just that, but we are looking at options. So.
So whenever the planning commission or whoever goes through and considers we're talking additional costs, we're using what I would call weasel words. We're saying it's a lot more expensive. Like, I'd be curious to see those numbers at some point. So if we 5x roughly, okay. So I mean, at some point though, I think for the community's sake, it would be worth at one of these meetings talking through a rough estimate of here's what it would cost to do these streets, blacktop, take them all the way down, regrade them, blacktop them. Here's what it would cost to handle all the bricks, restore whatever, get new ones where needed, etc., so that we can show them. Because if it's 5 times more, that means we pave 4 less roads for every one, right? And that might be kind of a hard sell for the plan, but.
It came back to life. There we go. That's strange. Okay. The batteries might be going, but it hasn't been long. Okay, great. But the plan would show that plus the recommendations or another proposal to be able to fit within the grant money that we did receive. And the third one being with the replacement of the bricks. There's, I think, 3 or 4 streets that are brick streets as part of the Broadhead project. And the full replacement of those would be part of the cost. And we'll be able to see all that in the May 11th meeting.
We are looking into, one of the things that the study addresses, and I think one of the reasons that that number of 5 times is often thrown around, I've heard that number several times, is that when those quotes are put out, that they're put out with the exact same metrics as the asphalt streets, but oftentimes you don't have to replace the entire brick street. You can replace sections of it, which you really can't do when you're paving a street. So we're going to look at the opportunities to, piecemeal them and we're not talking about what is done now, which is public works goes out and spot checks them, but actually having a brick focused an organization that just does that type of work come in and repair the spots that need to be repaired and look at it a little bit differently. And I think that's often where that 5 times cost come in. So we're going to see if there's analysis where we can save those streets that can be saved. Some of the streets that are in the Broadhead plan, unfortunately, probably need to be wholly replaced. So they might not be candidates for that, but we can figure that out as we go forward.
It's another thing too, where for the Broadhead piece, at least, right, we have the what's the name, the order that we have to meet for Alcoasand by a certain time, right? So it's not like we can delay for terribly long. I mean, I don't know what the timelines look like, but it's not like we can wait years to figure this out because we have to get that water separated, that sewage and water separated, right?
Correct. Yeah, we do have a time limit on that one. So.
Part of the good news, which we announced at the last meeting, was that the gas lines are possibly going to be replaced, which may add some additional funding to it on all those streets, which is not a bad thing to actually happen. So we want to make sure that those are also combined with this project too. And I think I'm fading out here. I think here, or I can use this. All right, community recreation and community events, Ms. Ballenbacher.
Okay, upcoming community events. Most of these are just reminders. We've been talking about them a while. The senior dinner, Saturday, May 6th, 4:30 to 7 with dinner service at 5. We're gonna have, they're gonna have musical guest, a DJ, they're gonna have musical bingo, and of course, the Derby race. If you'd like to volunteer, please email the rec board. My apologies, I don't have their email right in front of me. So if Pam, if you happen to know that email. Thank you. But unfortunately, the time to purchase tickets has passed. So hopefully you got your ticket. Spring cleaning event on this Saturday, April the 29th. We actually have details about that in the community events portion of the meeting tonight. So I'll go ahead and just let you say that so we don't double up. We are still accepting applications for vendors and food trucks for the January 10th vendor and car show, and also for the 4th of July. And just as an June 10th. Did I say January? I'm sorry, June 10th.
Wear your jacket.
I'm way looking ahead, apparently. Need something fun to do in the winter. And just as a little side note, we found out mini golf will be open for both of those events, the June 10th vendor and car show, as well as 4th of July. So the newsletter, our next newsletter is slated to be sent out on August 1st. So we would like to have all articles to us by July 1st. And just looking further ahead through the year, we are looking to have our final newsletter of the year to go out on December 1st with articles being due on November 1st. And that's pretty much it.
Great. All right, commission vacancy, Mr. Chandler.
Yes, so I had a motion on the agenda, but I'm going to table that motion for the time being, just to do a little bit more information gathering. So I'm going to skip over that for now. And with that, I have, I'll just go into current open positions and upcoming positions as well. I have 2 civil service alternate positions available for people to apply to. 1 rec board is open as well. 1 zoning hearing board regular and 1 zoning hearing board alternate, as well as 1 planning commission spot available currently. And upcoming, we will have 3 rec board spots available at the end of the year. And if anybody is interested in applying, please do so at craftonborough.com/commissions. And we also met the vacancy commission met as right before this meeting. And we have some plans to hopefully roll out some more recruiting efforts to get these positions filled. And those should be coming out soon.
Very good. Any questions? Great. The COG, Ms. Bolenbacher.
I actually was out of town and Jim went for me, so I'm going to defer to Jim.
Yes, and I will say the first COG meeting I went to is about as sleepy as you can get, and not because it's normally sleepy, but because Michelle had been the director of the COG had been out sick for 2 weeks and had to miss that meeting. So it was a pretty brief meeting. We did talk about one thing that we've discussed here, and that's the reclamite. We're still waiting on confirmation from Ingram that they'll do that. We have committed to doing, and I can't remember whether it's $30,000 or $40,000 worth of reclamite on our roads. To basically, it's basically a way to extend the life of paved roads. And so we're looking at that. And other than that, they had great food and it was nice to meet the folks. That was my first COG meeting. So.
Did they mention when and where the next one will be held?
You knew you were going to ask me that and I forgot to look. I don't remember. I will make sure I get that information
I
out.
can get it. I
Okay.
was just curious if you.
I'm sorry. Yes. I
No
do not.
worries.
Yep.
We can announce it at the next meeting too, because it'll be before then. Okay. All right, community announcements. The next council meeting will be Thursday, May 11th at 7:15. We do have the Crafton Spring Forward Cleanup Day. That's coming up this Saturday. So starting in the morning on April 29th at 8 o'clock till 11 in Crafton Park, there will be a shredding event and also medication bring back, throw away something, not buy back. But we're doing, yeah, they're not going to pay you, but hosted by Dan Deasy and Wayne Fontana, our state rep and state senator. A dumpster will be in Crafton Park to help you with your spring cleaning. And at noon, the Crafton Heritage Flower Sale pickup will begin and continue until 3. Those were pre-orders, so it isn't just walk up. You have to have already ordered those.
Though they may have some.
They may
extra.
have, that's what I was thinking, they may have some just there. In addition, come to the Borough Building starting at 9 to join other community members who will be walking the borough and picking up litter throughout through noon that day. Our Arbor Day celebration is also on Saturday at 11 o'clock in Crafton Park. So there will be a little celebration and proclamation right in the middle of all the other activities. And it will be close to the red bud trees along that area there, near the pool. Speaking of the pool, the season passes will start on next Monday, May 1st, and the pool opens on Saturday, May 27th. Please visit craftonborough.com/craftonpool for applications, which will now be online. So people can apply online for the Crafton Pool passes. Election Day. So Tuesday, May 16th from 7 to 8 is the primary election. Please make sure to confirm your polling location. They did change last year, so make sure you can confirm that based on your district and your ward. And for Crafton specifically, voters will be voting for 3 open council seats. Also, last item is we're hiring public works labor. Go to our website for more information on that position. Great. At this time, public comments. Citizens may address the Crafton Borough Council on any issue. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Crafton will be permitted to address the council. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before the council, who may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Please state your name and physical address for the record. So anybody here, if you just want to raise your hand. All right. Anybody on Zoom? All right. With that, does anybody else have any other items, topics? All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.